Yo, hey there folks. Okay, tonight I just want to do a quick little review slash rant of one of my absolute favorite 1980s creature feature flicks. I love many a creature feature flicks, but this one hands down takes the cake as my favorite. And not only from the cast, the story, and the special effects that reign supreme in it, but also it's my favorite remake, or one of my favorite remakes of all time. And that remake is, boom, The Blob. Okay? This film right here is just complete badassness. Okay, enough said. And I'm about to break down my merits for you. Okay? Now, before I break my merits down, I'm going to do a quick little recap of the plot. It concerns a Colorado town that is besieged by what they think at first is an alien comet that released like a sludge blob type substance, obviously, that destroys everything in its path. And once it devours you in its path, it grows and grows and grows. And it does not stop growing, and it does not stop moving. It's an oozing substance. Anyhow, so you got the two main characters, which Kevin Dillon, who plays the rebel without a cause kind of guy, like the Steve McQueen character from the original, and then you got Shawnee Smith, who plays the high school cheerleader, who teams up with him to try to escape and save the town from it, as they begin to realize what's going on. Okay, so that's pretty much the plot, and it turns out to be not so much a alien comet of any type, but a government-created form of military germ warfare. And that was a cool little late 80s twist on it, which I thought really worked. Because later in the film, when the town gets quarantined off by the military, you also realize who also the other bad guys are. And it's not just the Blob, it's the military. Or the government, rather. So anyway, this movie, my merits. Okay, first off, Kevin Dillon's badass in it as like the motorcycle riding, cigarette smoking, leather jacket wearing rebel. And then you got Shawnee Smith. Now, a lot of the modern audiences now know who Shawnee Smith is because she plays Amanda in the Saw franchise. And she's also, and I dare I say, she's fucking amazingly funny as the hot but stupid uber dumb ditz in the sitcom Becker with Ted Danson, which I love her in that sitcom. She's funny. She's got great comedy timing, but that's a different rant altogether. Anyway, it's a young Shawnee Smith and Kevin Dillon, and they're running from the Blob and trying to save the town from it and trying to figure out what's going on. But my merits go because of the cast. Aside from those two, you also get another genre veteran, Candy Clark. And people who may not be familiar with her, she starred in Amityville 3 3D. She was in the Larry Cohen film Q, The Serpent. And she's also, another horror film she's in is also the little scene 2000 slasher film Cherry Falls. Okay? So, but moving along, the real star of this movie, aside from them, is the special effects. Okay? Now, I'm not talking about this bullshit CGI shit we got nowadays. I'm talking about the real deal, practical, prosthetic special effects that fucking rock, that are done within the camera. Okay? You know, actors actually act toward it, not to a green screen in this. Okay? They don't make movies like this much anymore whatsoever. Okay? But anyhow, I digress. In the film, the blob jelly-like substance is done very well. The death scenes are fucking badass. You get pretty much one of the schmoozing guys of women is in Lover's Lane in his cramped up car with one of the hot chicks, and pretty much the fucking blob seeps out of her tit pit and devours him whole in the car. Fucking awesome effect. The next awesome effect, and it's also one of my favorites in the movie, is a guy in a suit, like in a restaurant kitchen, gets completely pulled down into a fucking sink pipe. We're talking about a pipe like this big, and his whole body gets sucked down into it from the Blob. Okay? They don't make movies like this no more, as I mentioned. It's fucking awesome. Okay, so I digress. You also get one character who gets completely enveloped and devoured by the Blob in a telephone booth, which is a pretty claustrophobic scene. And you also get the badass, iconic scene of the people in the theater getting devoured and running out of the theater in the droves, which was also in the original 1950s, The Blob. Okay? Another thing I liked about it, the film had these two kid characters. One was the little brother to the Shawnee Smith character, and the other was the little brother's best friend, which I think the best friend's name is Kevin. Okay? And I'm about to tell you this. When I was a little kid and I saw this movie in the late 80s, early 90s, it scared the shit out of me because not only did they kill a kid off in the film pretty grotesquely by getting devoured by the Blob and being spit back out like with his corpse, I think the kid's name was Kevin, which was my name, or is my name, and that really bothered me as a kid, but now I think it's pretty badass. Another side note I want to say, I love how they also commentary on the late 80s, or on the state of slasher flicks in the late 80s, because the two kids go sneak into an R-rated film, and that film is none other than the faux franchise Garden Tool Massacre. It's one of the sequels they go see, but all I know is this. From the scenes I've seen of Garden Tool Massacre in this film, man, I wish they really did make that, because I'd fucking own it. But anyhow, I digress. This film is just from top to bottom, from beginning to end, entertaining. Okay, you can't go wrong with this. It's got great action, great characters, great dialogue, and again, the real star is the special effects. It's what brought all the audiences in droves and got their asses in the seats during the late 80s period, where it was always all about the special effects. But don't take that away from the merit of the fact that this movie has a lot going on with it too. That's not saying deep, but it's more than just a special effects film. It's just plainly badass. So it's one of my favorite remakes. It's one of my favorite creature features. If you're a fan of it as well, feel free to comment down below. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it, or even if you hate it, you know, whatever. But it's one of my favorites, and I had to kind of show this one off and give it props, because, man, I can watch this over and over and over, and it never grows old. So anyway, that's my opinion about 1988's The Blob, directed by Chuck Russell. And yeah, feel free to comment below. Peace.